What are the emerging issues? What are the possible ways forward? What can science of learning do in order to enrich well-being research? This is one issue that is being faced by researchers, the issue of the positive or negative dichotomy. In the literature of well-being, especially in relation to positive emotions, we tend to label some emotions as inherently positive, such as joy, forgiveness, and some phenomena or experiences as positive, right? For example, optimism. And then we also look at sadness, anger. These emotions are negative and should be avoided. And some of these phenomenon or experiences such as pessimism or disposition, we tend to label them as negative and should be avoided. What does research say about it? There are some who would like to have a more nuanced way of looking at our experiences, our emotions. According to this study, joy can lead to greater risk of mortality due to engagement in risk-taking behaviors. We take more risk when we are happy. There's also this research saying that sadness can remind us what matters in life and give meaning to our lives. Sadness for lost love could just remind us of love and connection. And when we feel sad, we tend to turn to our loved ones for support. Could also build positive relationships. According to the literature also, this sadness can drive our actions towards valuing people. So now we see both the positive and negative side of two emotions, joy and sadness. There are more of these kinds of dichotomy that are being already debunked by research, that there should not be something like good or bad emotions. What happens is that we need to consider the phenomenon and also take a look at the context or the frame of reference before we label something as good or bad, positive or negative. This is a figure that somehow represents the way we could have some kind of a blended way of looking at emotions. For example, the experience of anger and forgiveness. Most of us think that forgiveness is good, right? Well, for those who tend to be more forgiving, they were found to have higher levels of well-being. But if you are too forgiving, it could prolong abuse. Anger is usually associated with aggression, but anger can also redress injustice. Anger can provoke us or incite us to assert our rights. Pessimism and optimism. Of course, we tend to view optimism as good. Well, studies show, yeah, it could increase our lifespan. It's also possibly associated with well-being. But optimism can also increase mortality rate or risk, is possibly correlated with engagement in gambling. Pessimism is associated with low effort and avoidance, but pessimism can also lead to proactive coping. If some of you might have heard of the term defensive pessimism, pessimism, if not too much, okay, again, in moderation, can lead to proactive coping. So when we have just a moderate amount of pessimism, we can engage in effective activities in order to cope with future stressful experience that we are anticipating. Resilience is one of the research areas that I have also covered. One thing fascinating with the construct of resilience is that it is in the context of adversity, where some people develop some strengths, they develop higher level of competence, we call it post-traumatic growth. Resilience cannot be developed without adversity. And many character strengths, according to Wong, cannot be cultivated or can be cultivated only to a limited extent when a person is not experiencing suffering or hardship, could also be stress. Okay, adversity and stress sometimes can be used interchangeably. The usual perspective about stress is that it's related to depression. Few weeks of exposure to stress is okay, but 1 month can kill our neurons. It could lead to impairment of our memory. Another line of research suggests that stress in moderation, acute stress in particular, can be positive. It could help us develop our immune system, help develop our mental toughness and sense of meaningfulness, as well as sense of mastery. It speeds up our brain processing. When we are under stress, we tend to think faster. It narrows our perspective and focuses our attention, but it speeds up our brain processing. So this is a very exciting study that supports the idea that stress could be good in some cases, especially acute stress. It could promote neurogenesis. Research done in Berkeley. In this study, they found out with rats saying that acute stress, brief stressful events can cause stem cells in the brains to grow, especially at the hippocampus, which is associated with memory. It's about the dichotomy of the positives and the negatives. The possible way forward is to adopt a more balanced approach in conceptualizing well-being, our qualities, and our emotions.